Another thing I forgot to mention that's kind of unique to sealed is that you get to sideboard into, you can theoretically sideboard it into an entirely new deck if your pool supports that. I also realized I probably should have splashed the Bound by Moonsilver. I'm going to most likely end up doing that between rounds. I think that might have been a mistake. Oh, and this is also, I'm actually going to keep this hand. This is also a play first format. I wouldn't have known that other than the fact that I've watched Travis do the sealed events quite a bit, as well as make it to top 4 of a PTQ. And I definitely think it's a quick enough format where you want to be playing, even in sealed. Definitely people can curve out and do some pretty insane things, so have to be able to compete with that. But yes, I do think I'm going to end up sideboarding into Bound by Moonsilver most of the time. Okay, dead weight. Does that mean I want to bring in another planes? Of that I am not sure. Guess we can do the landscape now. So we do actually have double black in here, right? 2 double black. I still probably just find the white. Alright, I think I want to throttle that. Mad Prophet gives my opponent some pretty good... well, maybe he wants to trade, in which case... maybe I'm more okay with that, to be honest. Save the throttle for something that I can't deal with. Trading off my courier seems very attractive here. We're going to get our planes. Ooh, Thornhide Wolves was a very good rip, too. Well, I think I'm actually going to play the Thornhide Wolves. It does give him another loot, but it also puts a big threat on the table. Plus, throttle with either of my guys now, even if he plays a fatty, is going to put him in some serious trouble. Plus, following up with Uvenwald Hydra seems good for us. Like I said, I do think the Bound by Moonsilver should have been something that made the final cut here. I'm going to have to figure out what to cut for it, but I can't imagine that being too terribly difficult. I might even be willing to cut like probably a Briarbridge Patrol, actually. That card is pretty underwhelming most of the time. It might be my worst creature. Probably is my worst creature. Could be the Ghoul Caller's Accomplice too, but I want to keep my curve pretty good. Hunter's certainly better. Watcher in the Webs maybe is more of like a sideboard thing. I'm actually not sure on that. Alright, let's just attack. It's a good chance he madnesses something here. So... alright, might be Spiteful Motives. We'll see. Okay. So we're going to throttle that. Get our 2-for-1. Pretty solid 2-for-1, might I add. So I'm going to end up playing the Hydra next turn anyway, so I'm going to play the land. Otherwise, I could hold it, because you can't play Sage of Ancient Lore if you don't have lands. Or, I mean, don't have any cards in your hand, so that would be a problem. But, okay. Alright, so we can sandbag that land for now. Even though it makes our Hydra bigger, there's not a lot of things that deal with a 6/6 other than just Purge. I mean, hard removal will deal with this Uvenwald Hydra. But, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. But you actually put it on the battlefield, so that is not in our hand. I guess we're drawing a card next turn anyway. Maybe I should have just done it. So I have to worry about Silver Strike, I imagine. Not going to play around it, though. I'm going to play the Sage first, just to see what we draw, because I'm curious. I am showing him an extra card, I realize. Okay. So let's get in there. Guess I should have played the land so my Hydra itself was lethal. Silver Strike is my guess. Inner Struggle, well, turned out to be irrelevant, so that's okay. So this is a 3/3 right now. If I play the Accomplice, I still am going to play the Accomplice. Reasons to play the Accomplice. Main reason to play the Accomplice is it's another human, which is going to let our Cathar be able to play and pump with our Cathar next turn, any of our guys, which I think is pretty important. Gat Staff Arsonist, sure. So we do have lethal now. So we just play Cathar Swing Team, and he blocks Courier, and he dies once I give Double Strike. Oh, opponent got me. Saw my Rabid Bite. All right, so let us go to sideboard. Let's do the old Bound by Moonsilver comes in, which I should have been playing in the first place. It's not a huge deal that I'm not, but it should have been in there. And I think the Briarbridge Patrol was the one that I had settled on booting out of the deck. It could be the Watcher in the Web, actually, now based on what I saw out of my opponent. He is in white, however, so he could have some flyers, which will make the Watcher better. But I kind of like the Patrol for investigation purposes. It's also a little bit cheaper. It also equips True Faith Sensor quite a bit better. We don't have a lot of reach, though, which is a problem. In fact, Watcher in the Web, well, I guess we do have the Hydra, too, which also does the same thing. I don't think we're going to bring in another Plains, too, by the way. I'm pretty sure we're just going to stick with the one with the Fork in the Road, the Warp Landscape, and the... I just don't want to screw up the mana base. I want to consistently hit my 2s and my 3s. And Purge and Bound by Moonsilver are not spells that you need to cast early. Geese's Bidding is another consideration to cut, because it's just not that amazing. It's decent. It is, however, a little bit more color intensive. And it's a sorcery, which I guess we are lacking, right? Well, I guess not really lacking. I mean, we have the Fork in the Road, we have the Rabid Bite. We have no way to Madness it, is that right? So no way to Madness it out. I have a feeling he's got some flyers in there. It just seems likely I'm going to want this Watcher in the Web. So it's basically it's Briarbridge Patrol versus Geese's Bidding, and I'm kind of tempted to just cut the Bidding because it's not a human for Censor, but on top of that it's double black, which I'm not in love with. I'm not in love with running double black spells in general, especially ones that I have no way to get extra value out of. All right, I think we're going to cut the Geese's Bidding. Let's do this. Okay, so we do have a Fork in the Road, which means any land draw would at least be able to find... We wouldn't want to find a Swamp and a Plains, though, because one would have to go to our graveyard, and we have no means of getting it back. As is, I think this hand is probably still a little bit too sketchy to keep, so I think I'm going to mulligan. Okay, this hand, on the other hand, is quite good, so we're going to keep it. I think we can afford to bottom this land since we already have 3 in hand and a 1-2-3 turn progression. Like I said, I actually think Rancid Rats is quite good in Sealed especially, because you get to trade with big things, theoretically. So the question is, do I want to play Kindly Stranger without Delirium at all? I probably do. Okay. Yeah, I think we do. It feels as though we're going to be waiting a while before we can get Delirium since we have nothing for it right now. So it feels as though we just sit back and hang out. Okay, Mad Prophet is the thing. We definitely want to take care of the looter. Question is, can we do it? Oh, so we've got sorcery. We're going to have instant. We're going to have land in our graveyard. Well, we're starting to get there, actually. Last component we need is creature, which is not bad. Let's, why don't we fork in the road first? Get our plains out there, and we'll put a forest in our graveyard. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Put one into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Search your library for... Click a card to put in your hand. All right, so let's put the plains in our hand, and we'll put the forest in our graveyard. So we can show them the plains we just dug up. And I guess we pass. So he's going to be able to, like I said, dig a little bit with Mad Prophet. Currently, Mad Prophet is looking like the thing we want to throttle because looter effects are always strong and limited, and especially in sealed where games tend to go a bit longer than people expect them to. So I was gonna say I was regretting playing Kindly Stranger this early, but I don't actually think that's true. If he had a removal for Rancid Rats, we would have been in some pretty big trouble. So I think this is actually reasonable. So let's see here. I think we probably throttle Mad Prophet right now. And like I said, the main reason I'm doing this right now is I just really want to minimize the amount of loots that he gets. Loots are very powerful and limited. Unfortunately, he's going to hit our Kindly Stranger. So we do have Delirium, which means we have one more Kindly Stranger we could theoretically get active and going here, rocking and rolling. Okay. Thankfully, we have the Bound by Moonsilver for that. So that's actually just a really nice way to deal with both aspects of what we're dealing with at the moment. Okay, and a Rats of his own, which unfortunately will stop our Thornhide Wolves, but that's okay. So let's offer the rat trade. I think he won't take it because we're behind, so I guess I can't really offer the rat trade. But let's bound the Blood Mad Vampire. And then... Okay, I guess this is okay. And then we play a land, and I guess we crack the Warped Landscape on at the end of our opponent's turn. Maybe he will attack with the rats. If we can find a clear path for our Thornhide Wolves, I'll feel pretty good. cracking the vessel. Like I said, our deck does not have a ton of reach. Looks like he's wisely not offered the trade with his Rancid Rats. We're just going to deck thin here. Another swamp. Sage of Ancient Lore is good. Let's play that, draw a card. Solitary Hunter, okay. So, guess we don't need to play the land here. I'm willing, at this point I might just need to be willing to trade my... I'm definitely willing to trade my rats for his spirit at this point, because we're kind of behind on the race. So he can attack with rats this turn, which he is doing. We'll see if a 4/4 can get there. Well, it looks like our guy's going to flip, which I assume means Inner Struggle is coming. So I guess I'm going to leave the rats back this time. Humble the Brute. This is an example of a card that's not so good in draft, but very good in sealed. So I guess we can play land now and play wolves. And I guess pass. So we're going to need our Watcher in the Web. Even Ever After, I guess. Yeah, Ever After would be quite good, actually. It'd let us get back our Kindly Stranger and a Sage. So we'd get to draw a card and get a Delirium effect that would let us destroy a creature. That Bound by Moonsilver is pretty stuck on that Blood Mad Vampire, though. Might just need to offer my Thornhide Wolves to the Rancid Rats. Which I admit I'm not in love with. Ooh, Hanweir Militia Captain is a very strong bomb to get. Okay, so I guess the plan is swing with the Wolves. And then we follow up with Hunter plus Golem. I guess that's 9 mana, and I only have 8. So let me just play the Hunter instead of the Golem. It doesn't make as good of use of mana, I guess, but I'm not sure that matters. Do I need to sandbag lands in my hand anymore? I don't think so, right? Doesn't look like it. Actually, I guess if I draw Ever After for Sage, I don't want to have no cards in hand, so I can leave 1 land in my hand. Or maybe I just don't need more lands at this point. So we need to find Watcher in the Web. Quilled Wolf is a real threat, but still gonna need Purge to deal with this cult leader. So we can, I guess, play our 2 spells and pass. Still pretty desperately hunting for Ever After. Another Kindly Stranger would work. It would at least let us deal with the cult leader. Watcher in the Web would help. So our opponent's got us in a pretty tough spot now, since he can... Oh, okay. Maybe he has a combat trick in hand, too, in which case we're in some real trouble. So if we triple block the cult leader, 3, 4, 5... He's not really leaving us a ton of options here. We kind of have to. I could just toss a Quilled Wolf in front of it. Maybe I'm better off doing that, because it does feel like he's got a combat trick. Which means instead of losing everything, I just lose one of my things, which probably is better for me. So let's just chump here, block like this, and block this guy. This still gives us Purge to take care of the Westvale cult leader. It felt as though he had a combat trick there. Hydra actually does let us block some things, so this seems like a... I guess his Stern Constable is currently tapped, so I guess we've kind of got to do it. Might as well deck thin. Guess we can make him a 9/9 now. So taps my big guy, attacks with everything. You can't do that, I guess. No incentive to move Bound by Moonsilver, right? It doesn't. He still gets to spit guys out, and he would have a big flyer that I can't deal with. Although I guess I can block it now, but he'd get the Griff Spoon back, which I don't think I can accept. Nahiri, nice. Opponent definitely got a very nice pool. I would argue better than ours. Yeah, I think what's going to happen now is we're going to lose this turn. Constantly just going to go tap, tap, and squash us. Could have even tapped our Hydra and killed it with Nahiri, which is pretty brutal. Veteran Cathar does not really do a lot here. This does not have trample. Yeah, I think he's probably just going to tap our Hydra, is my guess, and then we're going to lose to attackers. Although he did not tap our Hydra there, so it might not matter. We'll find out. Like I said, I really cannot afford to move the Bound by Moonsilver there. Okay. So he discarded a Spiteful Motives. Jeez, what's his other card? Guess we'll find out. Oh, okay. Wasn't expecting that. So looks like we're dead. I don't think any matter of Purge is going to bring me back from this one. Alright, we'll make our opponent kill us, but we are definitely dead. So opponent's deck is quite good. Nahiri, Cult Leader, aka Hanweir Militia Captain, Griff's Boon is very good. Humble the Brute, Fiery Temper, Murderous Compulsion. He's got some nice hard removal in there. He's got Nahiri, which is very good. So, certainly not going to be an easy match. Let's see if we can take game 3 here. Is there anything else? Clip Wings. Did he show us just spirit tokens, which does not seem worth it? He does have the Griff's Boon, but it still doesn't seem worth it to me. We have Purge for Griff's Boon in a pinch. And like I said, Bound by Moonsilver puts a real stop to Griff's Boon shenanigans. Quite nicely, might I add. I don't really want the Puncturing Lights. He's got responses to them too. It just seems very dangerous. I'm still happy with our Watcher in the Web. I still am happy with that plan. It's just we didn't see it, basically. So everything else, it seems fine. Yeah, I mean, I think we're okay. Apparatus. How many things did Apparatus deal with? Deals with Spirit Token, which isn't great. Deals with Mad Prophet, though. Actually, that's a big reason to bring it in. Maybe I do want the Apparatus. And then we cut something. Maybe we cut the Patrol now. Only leaves us with 14 creatures, but I might just have to be okay with that. Otherwise, I can cut the Golem, since I'm adding another artifact effect anyway. And it's basically just a 3/5, which isn't that great. But a 3/3 is not that great either. But I like the fact that it investigates. Probably kill something. I mean, is there something that Patrol doesn't deal with that Epitaph Golem does? And I'm not sure I have an answer for that. Not that I remember seeing, right? He's got like rats. He's got Stern Constable, Hanweir Militia Captain. I think we cut the Golem. We'll bring in the Apparatus just so I can deal with Mad Prophet a little bit easier. As well as like Blood Mad Vampire. Yeah, surprisingly, Apparatus actually looks pretty good in this match. Okay, nothing else that I forgot? I don't think so. Alright, let's do this. Yeah, we're going to keep this hand, actually. It's not the best hand I've ever seen, but we get to go Accomplice into True Faith Censor and maybe get a little bit of damage in while we wait for our land. He does have Deadweight in his deck, too. Saw that round 1. Or game 1, rather. Okay, land is pretty important. So we want to play the Censor for sure. No play. So if we get a land, I'm probably just going to play the Hunter. If we don't get the land, I'll probably just equip. Although now I kind of want to play Kindly Stranger. Get another threat out there. We are still quite a distance away from... Still quite a distance away from Delirium. Alright, Wicker Witch. The Wicker Witch of the West. So, I think we just offer the Accomplice trade and play the Hunter. Otherwise I can equip the Censor and swing with the Stranger, but it just makes it a big target. Whereas if I attack with the Accomplice and trade, get that Wicker Witch off the table, It would trade with the True Faith Sensor anyway, which I think just makes this an okay play. This way we have a bigger threat on the table. Another thing to equip True Faith Sensor to. He needs to make a spell play here. Rotten-Hearted Ghoul. Alright, it's actually pretty good here. Not insane, but certainly pretty good. We don't even have to kill it. We can just swing with both guys, bring the Accomplice, and flip our Hunter, which isn't bad, actually. It does leave our Kindly Stranger susceptible to a Murderous Compulsion, but like I said, we are still quite a ways away from the old Delirium. So I might just swing with both. Actually, I guess at this point I should just be willing to discard something, but my hand is just full of goodies. Like, I don't know what I want to discard. Is it the Thorn-Eyed Wolves? I have to get the Ghoul off the table is kind of the problem. And it's almost like he gets to trade a Ghoul for a Thorn-Eyed Wolves. Not exactly, but kind of. My other option is discard the Watcher. We did just lose the Spirit tokens, but it seems a lot less likely this game. Alright, I'm just going to equip up here. Alright, that makes me think he probably has Murderous Compulsion. But like I said, we're at least a white source. And then we'd have sorcery, creature, land. We'd still need yet another piece to fully get there. And I'm still sort of waxing and waning between, do I want this Watcher or do I want this Thorn-Eyed Wolf more? I feel like I probably want the Wolf more on this board. The only flyer we saw was the Spirits, is that right? Okay, so he did have Purge in there. Opponent's deck is very good. I think my opponent's pool is very good. It's a strong pool. I mean, well, Fork in the Road is pretty amazing for us here. Since now we can actually exile the, I'm not going to, but I could if I wanted to. Just thought I'd share that with you. All right, let's get rid of let's actually get rid of a swamp, I guess. So then we play the plains. We're not going to purge that, so we just equip up the Stranger and attack. And we just have to be willing to lose a Watcher in the Web. It looks like he's just not willing to lose the Rotten-Hearted Ghoul. So rancid. That's pretty nice for us here. So let's just eat his rats. And do we want to swing with the Stranger? Alright, do I want to use the Purge was my question, but I don't think I do. I think I gotta be... He's still not willing to lose that Rotten-Hearted Ghoul, which is a bit... it's surprising to say the least. Purge cannot currently get us... I could actually sack the True Faith Sensor to get Delirium. That is an actual possibility. It's not an attractive possibility, but it is a possibility nonetheless. All right, it looks like our opponent's just dead. So opponent fumbled on mana, and we just happened to curve out, and True Faith Sensor did a lot of work for us. But to be honest, I think our opponent's deck was better than ours. I was really impressed with the removal suite our opponents deck had. It was a lot. So we just exile you, my friend. You are gone. Sack the... Well, I guess I need both. Do I need white mana anymore? I guess not. Oh, now I can't cast Bound by Moonsilver. I guess it doesn't matter. All right. Still a close match. Like I said, I think my opponent's pool was better than mine, so happy to get the victory there. All right, we'll see you round 2.